Hello, New Eden. Here is Kakala Asanari. I'm gonna do a video about some other topic about the skill points. Today's video is gonna be about the skill points. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna talk about specifically about the all skill points, all alpha skill points. Where is that? Let me see. Swear to God, I had it here like a. Okay, there you go. Is it? I just can't find it all of a sudden. Ah, there you go. That's the one. So I'm gonna talk about the all alpha skill points. In what does that even mean? Well, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means now that all the alpha skill points, what you actually get with those. I also have all alpha skill points saved in one folder. So if anyone wants this in game, it's actually a pretty quite useful tool to have, or it's just to know what is that all about. Also, I want to just mention also that there's like actually 3 tiers of alpha points limit. That in the third tier, not a lot of people actually know. The first tier is the 5 million skill points tier, and what does that mean is that you can actually skill, training, having that into your queue, up to 5 million, and after that you won't be able to, and you'll be in pause, like I see, like I'm right here, and you won't be able to train anything more after that. Um, that is the first tier. There's also a next tier which is 20.5 million skill points. And what does that mean? It means that if you're alpha and only alpha, you can have skill points via doing daily missions, or just having, let's just say, alpha skill. Oh, what's that? I forgot. Is it? No. I'm sure it's alpha. Yeah, daily alpha injector. There you go. So if you just buy this thing, it's basically like training like on an omega. If you just log in daily and just inject these daily injectors, you can actually get the even a little bit more than the omega skill points that you're training automatically. But those needs to be injected, and that means you have to just log in, inject those skill points into your character, and you can go up to 20.5 skill points, that being just an alpha. But what other peoples don't know is that there is actually a third tier, and that is 59 million skill points. And how do you achieve that as an alpha? Is basically you can get those skill points. You can have these unallocated skill points, so you can just there's no limit for having unallocated skill points. So even if you're like at 20.5 skill million, you can still get unallocated skill points. And if you get to omega, you can have omega, let's just say, for like a weekend. You can buy the weekend pack from whatever, from the store, for 3 days, or for $3 or €3 or whatever, how much did that cost, or just have Plex and buy omega for a month. I don't know. But if you have omega for a short period of time and have all those unallocated points as an alpha, and you inject all those skills into the skills that I'm showing you in this video, and that I'm gonna talk about, you can actually get with an alpha at 59 million skill points, which is the third tier of how many skill points you can have as an alpha. This third tier, not a lot of people actually know about it, but the skill points accumulation doesn't end at 20.5. It means that you cannot inject if you're only alpha. But if you have already injected all those skill points, because those skills are already alpha, they will remain, and you will remain with all those skill points, and that the limit is 59 million skill points, and that includes all the alpha skills in the game that you can have as an alpha. So that's the third limit that you can have as an alpha. That's you know, and after that you can still get unallocated points, but you won't be able to just trade them. So that's like probably even like a fourth tier as an alpha character. But at that point, you're just basically you cannot use the skill points in any shape or form. But up to 59 million, you can actually get there. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting thing. I'm gonna also make a couple of remarks about the skill plan, the alpha skill plan. What does that even mean, and what you can actually do with all those skill points you get? So you know, it was before that like there was like the free trial myth, um, and I think it's basically it's a dead myth. You can just there's no more restriction now for alphas to fly any faction, or most of the factions. There's no more you have to fly Carlari or you have to fly Amar. Um, you have like you can fly as an alpha like anything, including frigates. Let me just you got frigate. I mean, you can fly anything. I mean, you can fly destroyers. You can fly cruisers. You can fly battle cruisers. You can fly even battleships, and in all the four major empires, and that also includes the pirate ships, which also are pretty interesting. So there. I mean, the alpha clones are definitely no longer race locked. Um, what can I say more about it? Hmm. Yeah, basically you can just probably just cross train into every single empire if you want. Yeah, it's a good thing that they changed. Now you can just have like everything with if you have like enough skill points invested. It definitely makes the alpha experience a little less of a trial and more like actually a full sandbox experience. But you'll have to invest some time into it. But it's quite rewarding actually. Um, Also, you kind of have as an alpha, you still have like pretty surprisingly little combat viability. You still have tech choose to like small or even medium or heavy missile specialization. It's just you still have tier 2, and you can actually train. It will take you quite a bit, but you can definitely have tier 2. I'll show you actually small artillery or medium blasters, actually very good with like ENI or something. Yeah, and I think alpha being able to just use tier 2, it's definitely uh, I can see that like a huge selling point for new players, because you're no longer like locked as being inferior. Tier 2 is actually probably where you can actually start. Where's the start is when you can actually combat. Um, yeah. Well, you cannot use that though for like the very large ships. You cannot use that for battleships, like large weapons. You cannot use tier 2. You can use tier 1 still, but I don't know what's called. Yeah, take turrets still, but the other weapons. So, but you can definitely fire like a battleship with tier 1s, and you'll be good. Um, yeah, it definitely makes competitive alpha very competitive. With definitely with frigates, destroyers, or even cruisers. Um, yeah, that being being able to just do tier choose. Um, they also, because they have access to those tier 2 weapons, they have also great support skills. Um, and I feel like also like in faction warfare, if you're like pretty maxed out as an alpha, you can actually do very very well in faction warfare. Um, and also obviously we have to talk about like the core fitting, the support skills like that, the CPU. I type. There we go. CPU management. You have to. This is a very principle. So you can just fly different type of ships. CPU management very important. Power grid also very important to have those maxed out. It just locks you. You can just have a variety of options. After that, you can have fly different type of ships because they have more power grid. Or you can have tight ships. Let's just put it that way. Also weapon upgrades, very good. Or mechanics. How do you mechanics? It will give you a hit point, which is a brawler. It's brawling in faction warfare is very important, or even also the whole upgrades, which is also very important. Now all those are will give you the extra edge that you need in a 1 versus 1 you know battling. um yeah, and that's because you're not artificially weakened because you have those base stats. You can train the magic 14, you heard probably about it. And the other also core support skills to the maximum. And yeah, alpha ship with good power grid CPU, base tank, and operating almost exactly as a 10-year veteran Omega player ship. Definitely. You can definitely compete with them. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know what I should have. Maybe I should have just told you more about it, but I should have probably I wanted to mention a little bit that let me know if you want this skill plan in game about all the alpha skills in the game. If not, take care. Kakala Asanari is out.